want to thank everyone for taking your time away from your daily chores, your job, your responsibilities to join us here today to honor our veterans. The members of the Town of Darien's Monuments and Ceremonies Commission and the members of VFW Post 6933 welcome you today as we honor our veterans. And I call upon VFW Post Commander Lenny Hunter to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. One. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lenny. You're welcome. We'd like to welcome our elected officials. I see here today our first selectman, Jamie Stevenson, Kip Coombs, I saw earlier, Krista McNamara, Sarah Newman, and David Martin. I saw him earlier. There he is. Also, State Representatives Terry Wood and Matt Blumenthal, and State Senator Bob Duff. I'd also like to thank Linda O'Leary and Karen Dunn, the executive secretaries for the Town of Darien, who without those two, nothing would happen.
Don't even go there.
So I really want to give a special thanks to the two of them. And we especially welcome our veterans. And to that end, the first thing I would ask, are we fortunate enough to have any World War II veterans among us today? Korean conflict? I know Ray is here. There he is, Ray Slavin. Vietnam? Afghanistan? Iraq? All other operations such as Grenada, Lebanon, Somalia, Panama?
Well.
One? And veterans from the Cold War? Double duty. Greg, you didn't raise your hand. Did you raise your hand?
You didn't say the Gulf War.
Oh, I missed the Gulf War? Okay. And now, along with me, I'd like each one of you to turn to one of those veterans and thank them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And Gal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
And now I call upon First Selectman Jamie Stevenson to read the Presidential Proclamation for Veterans Day.
Thank you, Terry. Sure. 61.
So Presidential Proclamation for the year 2020, special year certainly for us here in Darien. Our nation's service members past and present and their families represent the very best of America. Motivated by patriotism and love of country, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and space war fighters serve at home and abroad with professionalism, integrity, and devotion. Their families always stand beside them in their missions and as they transition to civilian life. During the National Veterans and Military Families Month, we celebrate the loved ones of our country's men and women in uniform and recognize the sacrifices they've made in support of our nation's heroes. When I first took office, I pledged to our armed forces that I would always have their backs and that means providing for military families as well. The demands and challenges of military life are shared by the loved ones of our heroes. Spouses, parents, siblings, and children often shoulder increased burdens and responsibilities when their servicemen and women are called to duty. Military families, and especially spouses, have to endure the stress of frequent relocations and deal with job searches under state licensing regulations that can prevent them from working in their chosen occupations. To address this issue, my administration eliminated unnecessary and cumbersome red tape that stifled career opportunities for military spouses, and the Department of Defense has implemented programs to enhance childcare opportunities for military families. Too many veterans carry painful memories and bear physical and emotional scars from their service. We will never forget our veterans who are suffering from mental health issues, or the military families that are left behind by veteran suicide. As president, I've prioritized changing the culture around mental health and promoting a society that recognizes the infinite value and purpose of every life. Last year, I mobilized every available federal resource to develop and implement the President's roadmap to empower veterans and end a national tragedy of suicide. I also fought for and secured a record $6.8 billion in funding for mental health services in the most recent Department of Veterans Affairs appropriations bill. In October, I signed the Commander John Scott Hannon Veterans Mental Health Care Improvement Act, which will bolster these effects even further. Like never before, we're using a whole-of-government approach to better understand and prevent suicide. No American warrior should ever be forgotten, and no military family should ever be left behind. Since the beginning of my administration, it has been a top priority and my solemn pledge to honor, equip, and protect our service members, veterans, and their families. My commitment has not wavered. America's military might is essential to our safety, prosperity, and national security. Caring for the brave Americans in our armed forces and their families, and upholding our sacred obligation to those who have served with honor is the least we can do for those who have given so much for so many. This month we pledge our gratitude to every man and woman currently serving this nation in uniform, to all of our veterans who helped preserve and defend our precious freedom, and to every family member who shares in the service and sacrifice of military life. My administration will never stop fighting to enhance and improve the quality of life for those exceptional Americans.
Thank you, Jamie. In November 1918, an armistice was signed at Compiègne, France, calling for the cessation of fighting along the Western Front at 11 a.m. on November 11th, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. November 11th became known as Armistice Day or Remembrance Day. 1 year later, on November 11th, 1919, ceremonies were held in the United States, England, France, Belgium, and Australia, marking the first anniversary of the signing of that armistice. People pinned poppies or sprigs of rosemary, the herb of remembrance, on their lapel that day. The World War, also known as the Great War, was thought to be the war that would end all wars. Had that idealistic hope been realized, we may still well have been calling today Armistice Day. But in 1952, Representative Edwin K. Reese of Kansas began a campaign as he realized peace had been preserved by veterans from the Second World War and from the Korean War as well. So he proposed that Armistice Day be renamed as Veterans Day. To that end, in 1954, President Eisenhower signed a bill proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day. It is fitting that we set aside this day to honor those who have survived the fight and commemorate the lives of those whose ultimate sacrifice made it possible for us to stand here today. We offer symbolic tributes at this time, and I would ask those readers who have the flowers to please join me up here.
We offer red flowers as a symbol of their zeal in upholding the ideals of brotherhood and justice.
We offer white flowers, symbolic of the purity of love we have for them.
The blue flower symbolizes fidelity and truth. We offer this to show them our respect.
The evergreen is a symbol of eternity. The deeds on land, sea, and in the air, performed by our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guard, and Merchant Marines are immortalized in the hearts of a grateful people. Symbolizing both the victory fought for on the battlefields and the victory found in eternal life, the laurel is our final tribute to them.
So Mickey Doyle, U.S. Army at Springdale Florist, is the one who supplied the flowers for us today. And he has got, for those who may not be aware of it, he has a wonderful tribute to the veterans set up in his flower shop. And I would encourage you all to take a look, go over there, take a look at what he's put together. You're going to recognize a lot of the faces that he's got in his tribute. Now, as has been the tradition every year since 1919, I would ask that we all just take a minute of silence as tribute to our veterans. Canadian physician and Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, after presiding over the funeral of his friend Alexis Helmer, who was killed in the Second Battle of Ypres in May 1915, was inspired to compose the following poem. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row. that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep though poppies grow in Flanders field. And finally, a traditional Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon the fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you all for coming, and always remember the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Thank you. I'm decluttering right now.